John, I'm going to go to you first because it was a packed house in Pensacola, as we just saw there. But the big question now is, can Trump turn those supporters at his rallies into actual votes, particularly in Iowa with its caucuses 18 days away and with the race so tight with Ted Cruz?
Well, thankfully, the microphones at CNN work better than Donald Trump's mic there.
That's true.
Yeah, I do think that you've hit the nail on the head. That is the big question. My inclination is obviously, Donald Trump doesn't have the political organization that some folks who have run campaigns before have. But if people are willing to stand in line for hours to see him, I can't imagine that there's going to be a huge fall off in terms of trying to get them to go to caucus to vote.
Cruz's problem is that if he swings and misses at Donald Trump, he looks really bad.
Right. So what is he going to have to do? What tack will he have to take then in that case to sort of deflect the controversy and go after Donald Trump? Because up until this point, he has been pretty polite.
I think the...
Oh, go ahead. John, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think he needs to get a better answer than the one he gave to Dana Bash. Her question was exactly on point. This is one of the nation's elite lawyers who failed to fill out the FEC forms. As Jennifer points out, the point of that is so that you know where he's getting his money from during the campaign. So number one, he's going to have to answer that question better than he has so far. And number two, he's got to figure out what nobody else has figured out yet, which is a way to knock down Donald Trump or to take swings at him without making him even stronger.
You just wrote a piece that the Democrats are actually hand-wringing over this notion of a Donald Trump presidency because Trump is more open to policies that perhaps appeal to Democrats than any other Republican running. But, John, remember what Trump said about Mexicans when he announced his run? Here's a refresher. Let's take a listen.
They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
So, John, do you really think the Democrats can forget what Trump said?
Well, I certainly don't think that most Hispanic Democrats are going to forget what Trump said, and I don't think the vast majority of Democrats are going to forget what Trump said. But when you're talking about independents, maybe some Democratic-leaning independents, and even maybe a few Democrats in some places of the country, he's got an opportunity to appeal. And don't just take my word for it, though. Sources have been telling me privately that they're concerned that he could become president of the United States. Watch what President Obama did in the State of the Union earlier this week. He spent the last State of the Union of his presidency and devoted the heart of that speech to Donald Trump and his ideas and taking them down. Democrats are worried about Donald Trump's ideas taking hold, and they're worried about the possibility that Donald Trump could become president.
And let's talk a little bit more about the Democratic race here, because the most trusted poll in Iowa, the Des Moines Register, a Bloomberg poll, it found that Hillary Clinton, take a look, is virtually tied with Sanders. She has 42 to his 40%. And that poll also found that Sanders is not gaining support while Clinton is losing support. John, what does that mean for the Clinton camp?
It means that her camp and Bernie Sanders' camp are going to be working Martin O'Malley's voters very hard to make sure that they're the second choice in those caucuses, which have sort of a multi-tiered aspect. Look, her campaign is taking on water right now. There's no question that the polls have tightened. If she was looking for silver lining, maybe it would be that if she ultimately wins, she gets some benefit from having beat expectations. But you wouldn't want to be in the Clinton camp seat right now in terms of declining poll numbers.